different vibes, different moments. You can only deep dive zombie for so long before you just feel so gutted inside. And hi, I'm Kate, and welcome to Always Tuck and Roll. We discuss life, the universe, autism, and pretty much anything else that falls out of my head because I rarely have a plan. Why am I starting now? Honestly. And I promise you today, there's no actual sentient plan. This could go one of two ways, or possibly a third that I don't even know yet. Context. I've been trying to film a video for 3 hours. I'm doing this on the day I typically post a video. I have nothing in queue at all. So, will we find a topic? Maybe. I got a sunburn on Sunday and it has wrenched my world. Like, I'm having a harder time focusing. And because between the sensation of having a sunburn, which I'll post a picture of what it looked like on Monday. Not my worst sunburn, but like, it's been a while because, you know, I've had 2 precancerous moles removed from my person at this point in time, and I really can't be standing out in the sun anymore. So I have since purchased a UPF blocking hoodie to wear for outdoor excursions in the spring and summer, so hopefully that will prevent this situation from happening again. In addition to the pain of a sunburn, or irritation, however we want to describe it, I mean, you know, even if your pain is on a 1 scale, it's still irritating AF, you know? The scent of the cooling creams is very coconut and cocoa butter, and those scents are not my favorite scents at all, so I'm just surrounded, bombarded by, like, no. So this is me being like, plus there's a parking lot right out there that, like, dude, so loud. I think that when they came to switch the dumpsters out earlier this morning, they just picked them up and dropped them a bunch of times. I'm not actually sure if that's what happened, but that's what it sounds like. Anyway, this week has not been one of my more productive weeks. I've managed to, like, be a person, but just barely. But, like, creatively, it took me 3 days just to write 1 blog post, which I'll link below, hopefully. And, it's been more about self-care than production. And part of my self-care has just been binging reaction videos, like music reaction videos specifically. Music is how I emote. It's how I figure out what I'm feeling sometimes when I just know that I'm feeling something and I can't figure it out, and it just feels like there's no control. It's just, you know, or you could burst at any minute and you don't know why. And the thing I love about music is that it's so universal that certain songs will evoke just very, very specific emotions across you, regardless of whether or not you were ready to feel them at all. And I typically, when I watch music reaction videos, I really, really gravitate toward the content creators that go, like, deep into the vocal folds and just explain how all of the different things are working together, and, like, where different sounds can be made from and how they're used, or when someone does, like, you like, oh, did her voice crack? Oh no, that was intentional. Or, oh, there's a slide there. Things like that. Or yeah, no, that would be getting ahead of myself. So this time around, despite the fact I typically only prefer, like, the really technical reactors, so I'm not going to knock out another cat swings. You react how you want to react. We all know that I wouldn't react the way that anyone else would react, because I'm a unique individual that also has autism, so again, reaction would be a little bit different. But so, I fell down the rabbit hole on just 2 songs, which I've watched before, and I've watched reactions to before, but I fell down rabbit holes of just binge watching reactors react to Postmodern Jukebox and Haley Reinhardt's Creep, and the Cranberries' Zombie. Now, if you haven't heard either of those songs before, please go do so. And if you've never seen the videos for those, please go do so. And even if you've heard the songs, please watch the videos. Like, it matters, especially in the case of Zombie. I fully believe that if Zombie was required viewing for the planet, we would have way less war. You don't even have to know what it's about to just know you want to end war when you hear it. So, there's that. But the thing I was noticing, like, just where I don't emote in a traditional manner a lot of the time, and I'm not, but everyone's so different, so we're all going to emote different, especially with our different backgrounds and what ourselves bring to a table and stuff. So, and that's sort of why, like, it is fun to watch a bunch of reactors to watch one very specific video, or those two, because, you know, different vibes, different moments. You can only deep dive Zombie for so long before you just feel so gutted inside. And Dolores O'Riordan, R.I.P., that voice, so ethereal, she was so phenomenal. And then Haley Reinhart, also a phenomenal voice, different voice, wildly different, range different, but we're trying to create different emotions with, and it doesn't matter what she's singing. She could sing you The Phone Book and you would fall in love. I swear. But so I wanted to start looking at, like, the psychology of music, because, so back in the day when I was studying anthropology in college, many years ago at this point in time, since I've been putting off grad school for 18 years, I was very strongly considering furthering my education by going into ethnomusicology. And then I let a guy talk me out of it, and I should not have done that. So, live and learn and move on. Anyway, still don't know what I would do with it, and that's why I haven't done it yet. Also, I kind of want to go to law school, so, like, that's again, 18 years of putting off that crap, so we're not going to talk about that. So I wanted to look more at the psychology of music and how it makes us feel. So, this article from Psychology Today from August 2019, entitled Music, Emotion, and Well-Being. So one of the most important issues in the psychology of music is how music affects emotional experience. Music has the ability to evoke powerful emotional responses such as chills and thrills in listeners. Yeah. I think even before the lyrics start in Zombie, your whole body the goosebumps just roll over you because it's such a raw sound in that music. Music has the ability to evoke. Yeah, we got that. We already read that part. We're on to the next paragraph. Positive emotions dominate musical experiences. Pleasurable music may lead to the release of neurotransmitters associated with the reward, such as dopamine. Listening to music is an easy way to alter the mood or relieve stress. People use music in their everyday lives to regulate, enhance, and diminish undesirable emotional states. And that is so true. Like, sometimes when you're angry and you just want to feel the anger, you listen to angry music. And sometimes when you're angry and you don't want it, you listen to something like, try to be angry and listen to Walking on Sunshine. It just doesn't work that well. Sorry. I mean, maybe you can, and more power to you if you want to rage to Walking on Sunshine, but it is just like such a... It's hard not to get up and move. And I hate dancing. So, they broke it down, naturally. So, their first point here is musical pleasure. The enjoyment of music appears to involve the same pleasure center in the brain as other forms of pleasure, such as food, sex, and drugs. Well, it makes sense, because, I mean, serotonin and dopamine are technically the only two things you enjoy. Evidence shows that an aesthetic stimulus, such as music, can naturally target the dopamine systems of the brain that are typically involved in highly reinforcing and addictive behaviors. Again, I fell down some rabbit holes. I lost a whole afternoon yesterday just listening to people moon over the sounds that Haley Reinhart can make. And I mean, oh my goodness. I don't know what her range is, but it's got to be something intense. Plus, she knows how to use every aspect of her insides to make noise. It's amazing. In one study, participants listened to their favorite songs after taking naltrexone. Naltrexone is a widely prescribed drug for treating addiction disorders. The researchers found that when the subjects took naltrexone, they reported that their favorite songs were no longer pleasurable. Well, that's lame. Why would... No. Why are we taking the enjoyment out of music? Okay. However, not everyone experiences intense emotional responses to music. Roughly 5% of the population do not experience chills. This incapacity to derive pleasure specifically from music has been called musical anhedonia. Anhedonia. Never heard of it before. The chills thing, I mean, I feel bad for the 5% that don't feel the music like that. But at the same time, I understand, because, like, people have been saying about how ASMR makes them feel, and I don't. It's just noise. And there are some genres of music I think are just noise too, but that's my tinnitus does not care for techno or dubstep, because the bass drops and others and some shrill surprise noises and chaos, it doesn't, like, my autistic brain doesn't like it, and also my tinnitus cannot flip and handle it. It hurts so much. But so I do understand how someone could not feel that way when they hear a song, but I also couldn't imagine it at the same time. But clearly I can, because I've also heard noises that people are like, ooh, that makes me feel all over, and I'm like, that was an obnoxious noise and I hope to never feel it again. Like, it didn't make me feel anything other than pissed off. Maybe that's all I'm supposed to feel, I don't know. Okay, so their second point here, musical anticipation. Music can be experienced as pleasurable both when it fulfills and when it violates expectations. The more unexpected events in music, and the more surprising the musical experience, we appreciate music that's less predictable and slightly more complex. Okay, I'm actually going to fight this a little bit. Like, I love jazz. I hate improvisational jazz because it's chaos. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Just like my partner is huge into the Grateful Dead. Huge. You could name a concert, he will tell you what his favorite song is, what the lineup was, how things were, other weird factoids about it. And I love that. I love hearing about it. But I also struggle with the Grateful Dead sometimes because they're very jammy, and sometimes I'm like, are we still listening to the same song? Are they playing the same song? Because I don't think that they know. And I'm going to specifically call out Drums in Space for just being nonsense. Like, there are some renditions that are fine, and others where I don't think they even knew that they were on stage when they were playing. That's just me. That's my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I like the predictability, and sometimes I don't. But I can't do improvisational stuff because I want to hear what I want to hear. I want to hear what the song says. If I'm listening to music, I want it to be what I want to hear. It took me a long time to be okay with cover songs too, and then the Last Kiss cover by Pearl Jam. That changed everything for me as far as my feelings on cover songs are concerned, because that song, that cover, really, it's what the song should have been, in my opinion. Anyway, refined emotions is our third point. There's an intellectual component to the appreciation for music. The dopamine systems do not work in isolation. No part of your body works in isolation. And in their influence, there will largely be dependent on their interaction with the other regions of the brain. That is, our ability to enjoy music can be seen as the outcome of our human emotional brain, and its more recently evolved neocortex. Evidence shows that people who consistently respond emotionally to aesthetical music stimuli possess stronger white matter connectivity between their auditory cortex and the areas associated with emotional processing, which means the two areas communicate more efficiently. That makes sense. I mean, I mostly only feel emotion, like, purely when I am listening, because that's when I feel. Number 4, memories. Memories are one of the more important ways in which musical events evoke emotions. The late physician Oliver Sacks has noted musical emotions and musical memory can survive long after other forms of memory have disappeared. Part of the reason for the durable power of music appears to be that listening to music engages many parts of the brain, triggering connections and creating associations. It's like when you have patients with dementia that, phenomenal musicians that, dementia, they might not remember their family, but you put them in front of their instrument and they will make the most beautiful soulful music because it's the one part of them that remembers, and it's just amazing. Music is everything. Ooh, stretching hurts so much. Anyway, action tendency. It's our 5th point. Music often creates strong action tendencies to move in coordination with the music, like dancing or foot tapping. Our internal rhythms speed up or slow down to become one with the music. We float with the music. And that's so true. It really is. I do not like to dance. However, there's plenty of songs where I'm just like bopping around doing my thing, especially if they're only in my head. But listening to them, oh yeah, there's a lot. The 6th point, emotional mimicry. Music doesn't only evoke emotions at the individual level, but also at the interpersonal and intergroup level. Listeners mirror their reactions to what the music expresses, such as sadness from sad music or cheer from happy music. Similarly, ambient music affects shoppers' and diners' moods. I mean, that's true. There's certain music that I guess will make people buy more and others that will eat more. There's also scents that will do that too, which is so weird. The human body is whack. It's lovely. It's so fun, but it's so weird. Yeah. And the 7th point, consumer behavior. Background music has surprisingly strong influence on consumer behavior. In one study from 1999, they exposed customers in a supermarket drinks section to either French music or German music, and the results showed that French wine outsold German wine when French music was played, whereas German wine outsold French wine when German music was played. I find that interesting. I mean, mostly because, like, when I was drinking white wine, and I really don't drink anymore, but when I was drinking white wine, people would crap on me for drinking Riesling, because I love Riesling. Like, honestly, have a glass of Riesling with your Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving is so robust and salty and heavy, and that, like, sweet, fruity counterbalance is such a nice thing. And people look at me like I'm crazy for that, but hills I will die on. Pair your stuffing with a Riesling. 8th point, mood regulation. People crave escapism. Heck yes, that's how I fell into this rabbit hole in the first place. During uncertain times to avoid their woes and troubles. Music offers a resource for emotional regulation. People use music to achieve various goals, such as to energize, maintain focus on a task, and reduce boredom. Okay, that's so true. If you were to read my senior thesis from college, which I would not suggest, the cadence could be read to Modest Mouse's We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Sank album, and also the first Franz Ferdinand album, because I played those 2 albums on repeat while I did a 15-and-a-half-hour marathon session of writing it. Did I wait till the last minute? Yes, I did. Procrastinator. We've talked about this. There's a whole video. Right. So, the ninth point they make here, time perception. Music is a powerful emotional stimulus that changes our relationship with time. Time does indeed seem to fly when listening to pleasant music. Music is therefore used in waiting rooms to reduce the subjective duration of time spent waiting in supermarkets to encourage people to stay for longer and buy more. I don't know if I know approximately how long the songs I'm hearing are, then I'll probably know how long I've been a place and be like, oh, we shouldn't still be here. That's a really long song. But that's me. They do point out hearing pleasant music seems to divert attention away from time processing, but some of us are very neurotic about time. I wonder why. And the 10th point here that they have in this article, which I will link below, identity development. Music can be a powerful tool for identity development. Young people derive a sense of identity from music. For example, the movie Blinded by the Light shows the power of Springsteen songs to speak to Javed's experience on a personal level. The lyrics help him to find a voice he never knew he had and the courage to follow his dreams, find love, and assert himself. And, that's so true. I mean, there's a reason we have the stereotypical teenager listening to angry music. And actually, there's no genre of music I haven't, gone down the rabbit hole for. I love music. I love all music. Again, except for the techno and the dubstep, because even though those two genres are vast, and I know I haven't explored them all, it physically hurts my head to listen to them. My tinnitus does not, which I ironically got from hitting my head on a guitar amp. While listening to an acoustic version of Friend of the Devil, played by a friend. College. And, but you have that stereotypical teenager sound, and I can remember being, super into nu metal. Nu as in NU. So we're talking, Korn, and System of a Down, and Disturbed, and what's fun is, I objectively still like listening to those, and I still feel the feels, and I think it's great. But watching, a technical opera singer break down what's going on in some of those songs that, made you feel seen and heard and understood when you were 15, having someone who knows what they're talking about talk about it, and justifying how wonderful it is. Not that music ever needs a justification for existence, but just to have that validation has been fascinating to watch. Oh yeah, I knew that was good, but I didn't understand why it was good, and knowing why it's good makes it even more. It is broadened my relationship with my own musical catalog. And I mean, I was one of those people with 160 gigabyte iPod that was full, because I will listen to anything. Variety is the spice of life, and there's no such thing as bad music, just music that maybe isn't your jam. It's going to be someone else's. So, I'm not actually sure where I'm going to land here at all, but I think that, listen to music. Wear sunscreen, but listen to music. Definitely, if you haven't listened to Postmodern Jukebox and Haley Reinhart doing the cover of Creep, do so. And if you haven't heard or seen the the Cranberries doing Zombie, please go do so. Those are they're very great videos to watch. And go ahead and watch them and tell me what you feel, because I know that I feel all of the emotions and I don't even know if I can narrow them down. But those are wildly different songs to even combine in one closing thought. So let's just not compare them, because they're not really comparable, other than they both make you feel so deeply and in so many ways you maybe didn't anticipate feeling today. So, buckle up, I guess. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm not kidding. Wear sunscreen, please. Nobody wants to join me in this boat, which is so it was avoidable, and we'll hopefully avoid it for the rest of the time. And when all else fails, don't forget to just check and roll. See where you land.